Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1999 Acura NSX. Behind me is a 3.2 liter V6, and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be making this video here today because guys, it's an NSX. I am so happy, so privileged, so excited to share one of the most iconic Japanese cars ever made with you today. And just to get it out of the way, yes, this car is just as good as you think. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 3.2 liter V6 that is behind me. Well, it is a mid-engine V6 and was designed by Honda to compete with Ferrari. And we'll get into that in the final thoughts segment, but they originally had a 3-liter V6 in the car, but then they upped it to 3.2 liters for 1997, and it stayed that way until the NSX came to an end in 2005. It makes very, very solid power, and at the time would either match or beat the performance numbers of Ferrari. So Honda met their goal with this car. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed manual transmission, and it is lovely. It is fantastic to drive. It's so clicky and notchy into gear. It's like every other Japanese car, but this is no ordinary Japanese car, but it's friendly like one. It's accepting. It might be daunting to drive. Getting into the seat of an NSX is not something I get to do every day. And so I was like, oh, you know, it might be a little, no, it's fine, and it's perfect, and it shifts fantastic. Last but not least about the drivetrain, of course, the NSX is rear-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive an NSX? Besides feeling like the king of the world, it's wonderful. The biggest takeaway from the NSX is really truly how smooth it is. Even the VTEC, because this is a 3.2 liter VTEC engine, it comes on so smooth. It doesn't kick you in the chest. It doesn't brag or shout. It just helps make the car better. And I really, really enjoyed that. The suspension is bang on. The shifting is friendly and exquisite. It's just, it feels like I am flying a fighter jet that was built for me. I feel like if I peel up the seats, it is going to have a plaque that says built for Zack Pradel. It is just an extension of your body, and it's a beautiful one at that. It's just, you put your foot down and it goes faster. And I know that's like so self-explanatory, but oh, it's so lovely to drive. It's too lovely. It's not right. This car deserves a better driver and a better world than me. But I don't mind driving it today. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 6 gauges. Off to the left is my oil pressure, coolant temperature, and tachometer. And off to the right is my speedometer, fuel, and battery voltage. On the steering wheel, we have cruise control and horn buttons, but that's it. And off to the left, we have climate vents, lock and unlock window switches, and power mirror switches all on the door, and they sort of cascade down like a waterfall. I really, really enjoy that look. Moving into the center, we do get a clock as well as 2 climate vents. Our climate controls themselves, along with the Acura Bose cassette player, still in the 90s, can't forget that. Volume, tune, and favorites button, a little ashtray and cigarette lighter, and the shifter. Absolutely love this little shifter. Although this is an aftermarket shift knob, the standard shift pattern is found down below. Love that look. Handbrake off to the right, and no cup holders here in the NSX. So the first time I get to big friggin' bottle test an NSX, it unfortunately fails. I do get a tiny center console and the seats. The seats are power, and they are pretty comfortable. 90s seats tend to be pretty comfortable, and so that's true here in the NSX as well. And we don't have any back seats, but we do have a trunk and sort of a frunk. So let's hop out and take a look at those. So to get into the trunk, we do have a little trunk release back here. Come around here and lightly pull up. We do have the big friggin' bottle and my camera equipment. But this is the trunk space of the NSX. So impressive that you still do get the engine is here, but then you get the trunk itself back here, which is fantastic. Now, we do technically have a front trunk, but as you can see, it's just a spare tire, fill up the brake master, things like that. So nothing too crazy up there, but you do get something up at the front of the NSX. Now we have to talk about the looks, and this might be one of the most beautiful cars to come out of the 90s. It's just an absolutely gorgeous shape, gorgeous styling, and it revs my engine every time I look at it. And I think it's also aged incredibly well. Here in 2024, this still looks brand new. Well, it doesn't look brand new, but you get my point. It looks fresh and it looks good. That can't be said about all 90s cars. So definitely cool to see here in the NSX. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a 1999 Acura NSX? Well, this actually isn't my first time featuring an NSX here on the channel. I drove one back in 2018. I was a baby in that video. And so with over 1,200 cars reviewed since then, I would like to think that I bring a little bit more to the table. The Acura NSX was designed in the late 80s and early 90s. Acura wanted to build a supercar, a flagship vehicle that would put their name on the map. Remember, Acura only came out in the late 80s, so by the time they put this car out, they were 5 years old, maybe? That's quite the lofty task to go after old man Ferrari as essentially a newborn. But they did it. They did it through engineering a special V6 just for the project. They did it by consulting Formula One champion Ayrton Senna in the final stages of this car to get his seal of approval. And there's an amazing video of him driving one of these on a track in loafers. They pulled out all the stops and they freaking did it. This car was a role model for kids in the 90s like the GTR was in the late 2000s. It's an underdog story, a little Japanese company taking it to the man. Japanese manufacturers at the time were still vaguely unknown. They started coming to the States in the late 60s, early 70s, and they definitely held economy car status in the 80s. Sure, there were a couple sports cars like the Datsun and Nissan Z, the Mazda RX-7, Celica, and Supra, but especially Honda. Honda was not known for sports cars. They really didn't do anything too sporty. The CRX towards the end of the 80s, sure, but nothing like this. And so I think that's why the NSX is so beloved. Not because it was anything terribly crazy, but because it came from small, humble beginnings. Because Acura wasn't even really on the map, and they came out with this. They Falcon punched their way into the supercar market, and they did it with this. The Acura NSX. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ed for letting me take out his Acura NSX for today's video. What an amazing example at only 35,000 miles. What a beautiful, beautiful car. Ed has been awesome to work with, and I appreciate him very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.